Okay, so you might be wondering, why is there a computer screen with a Pornhub logo on it? Well, this picture combined with this chart right here explain everything that you need to know about becoming dangerously confident. This was a major unlock for me, and it allowed me to develop bulletproof confidence. I used to doubt myself all the time. Everything I tried to do, I was just certain I was going to fail. And now at this point, I have this sense of confidence that I know I deserve success and I'm going to get it. And I'm going to teach you how you can get that same thing for yourself in this video. So the first thing you need to know is that your mind is keeping score. Every action, thought, and experience you go through is being recorded in your mind. Your mind is watching everything that's happening when you go to the gym or when you sleep in, when you think about watching porn or you think about positive thoughts about achieving your goals, when you experience a victory or a loss. Your mind sees all of this stuff. And your subconscious mind takes these things and creates your self-perception, which is basically how you see yourself, your beliefs about life, and expectations of the future. Every action, thought, and experience is basically a vote for or against who you want to be. When you pick up the cookie instead of the steak, that's a vote for who you want to be. When you choose to only work 2 hours on the weekend instead of working 12 hours on your business, that's a vote for who you want to be. When you choose to skip your workout or sleep in, these are all votes for who you want to be. Now, what does this have to do with confidence? Well, confidence comes down to 3 things: self-perception, beliefs about life, and future prediction. The same 3 things you program with your thoughts, actions, and experiences. Understanding this is the key to bulletproof confidence. People think confidence is this amorphous thing when in reality, it comes down to what your subconscious mind has taken in and has created as your self-perception, beliefs about life, and future prediction. That's all confidence really is, and you might not quite get that, but you're going to understand it as we go through this video. Here's the thing. You're already confident. Everyone is confident in something in every circumstance. Even if you don't know what's going to happen, you're still confident in that. So for example, if you've never been in a situation before and you feel kind of apprehensive about it and you're not sure what's going to happen, that's because you're confident that you're not sure what's going to happen, because you have no evidence in the form of thoughts, actions, and experiences to program your self-perception, your beliefs about life, and your future predictions. And because you don't have those kinds of things, you're uncertain of the outcome. You're confident that things aren't going to work out when you approach that girl. You're confident you're going to fail in starting that business and quitting your job. You're confident in all kinds of things. Every situation, you're confident in an outcome. So the problem isn't that you aren't confident. The problem is you are confident in things you don't want to happen. Here's a list of some things that you might be confident in right now that you don't like. You might be confident the girl's going to reject you. You might be confident you couldn't be a successful business owner. You might be confident that people will laugh at you. You might be confident that you can't wake up early. So many people say stuff like that. They're like, I can't wake up early. I'm not a morning person. You're confident that that's true because of whatever thoughts, actions, and experiences you've had in your life which have programmed you to believe that's the truth. You get what I'm saying here? You're confident you aren't disciplined. You're confident you won't get that job you applied for. You're confident you're going to fail. This is where the average person lives their life. It sucks. I mean, this is what they're confident in, but as you're going to see, there's a way to change this, and you got yourself into this situation, not intentionally because you didn't know any better, but you did get yourself into this situation based on your thoughts, actions, and experiences. We're going to explain how you can reprogram this so you can have bulletproof confidence, but you got to understand this. So why are you confident in things you don't like? This chart right here explains it all, and I could not truthfully come up with a catchy name for this chart. I was trying to come up with something. I came up with like the self-perception scorecard for it, but truthfully I don't like that. I think that sounds kind of lame. As a matter of fact, if you have a good idea after you learn what this chart is here about what we can call this chart as we mention it in future videos, because I think we'll discuss it in future content because it's an important concept to understand. In fact, one of the most important concepts. So after you understand what this is, leave a comment if you've got an idea for what we can call this thing. And if it's a good one, maybe we'll roll with it. So what this represents is your confidence level. The red line represents the bad stuff that you're confident in. So the girl's going to reject me. I'm going to fail at this thing. All that kind of stuff. The blue line represents the stuff that you want to be confident in, the good stuff. And so there's a certain part of you that is sort of confident in the good things, and then there's a bunch of you that is confident in the bad things, basically. And that's what this chart is showing. So over time, you have stacked up evidence that has made you confident in things you don't like. You've talked about yourself in a certain way. You've acted in certain ways, and you have produced evidence in the form of experience that is making you confident in things that you don't like. Here's how this might work. You're trying to attract a woman. On the red side, you see the quote, "She will reject me." That's what you're confident in. On this side, on the blue side, "She will like me." And you can see you're much more confident that she's going to reject you. Well, why is that? We see over here on this side, rejections that have piled up over time. Negative self-talk, telling yourself, "I'm not the kind of guy that girls like," or "she's going to reject me," and playing that thought in your head. Didn't approach, but you wanted to. How many times have you seen a girl and you were too scared to talk to her? Left on red. Every time you get stung because some girl left you on red. You don't dress like an attractive man. You're not in shape like an attractive man. All these kinds of things, they stack up. And what are they telling you about yourself? Again, what are they programming into your subconscious as your self-perception, beliefs about life, and future prediction? All of that stuff predicts that you're going to be rejected. It makes you confident that you're going to get rejected. Not that she's going to like you, because none of that stuff comes from "she's going to like me." Another example right here, pursuing a goal. On the red side, you see the quote, "Give it up, you will fail." On the blue side is the confident statement, "I can do this." And you're obviously a lot more confident in this situation in "give it up, you will fail." Well, why is that? How many times have you quit? Ask yourself that. Seriously, how many times have you quit on a goal? How many times have you said, "This is it, this is going to be the time"? How many times did you say you were going to quit your job and go start a business? How many times did you say you were going to talk to that girl? How many times did you say you were finally going to get in great shape? These things stack up. Negative self-talk, again, a big one for this kind of stuff. You keep reinforcing these beliefs about yourself through the way you're talking about yourself. Not keeping your word to yourself. How many times have you broken at your word? "I'm not going to eat that junk food," and then you ate it. How many times did you say, "I'm going to wake up at this time," and you didn't do it? "I'm not going to drink that thing," and you drank it. All of this stuff stacks up, and it just beats on you guys. It's these daily little things that you do on a consistent basis. They tear apart your confidence and make you confident in things you don't want to be true. And the reason is because it just makes sense. If you keep doing these kinds of things, you're going to be confident in certain outcomes because these behaviors lead to those outcomes. It just makes sense. Sleeping in, taking the easy way out, settling in life, playing it safe, mailing it in. How many times did you half-ass it on some shit? Seriously. You were like, "You know what, I'm really going to go for it," but you didn't mean it in your heart. You didn't mean it. You weren't serious about actually achieving your goal. You mailed it in, told people you tried and you failed and it didn't work out because you didn't really want to go for it because you were scared. How many times did you not have discipline? All of this stuff adds up, okay? Another one, being the man you want to be. Every guy wants to be James Bond, right? Like, this channel is all about life maxing, becoming a high-level man. I assume if you're taking the time to watch this content instead of wanking off or watching a Mr. Beast video, it's because you want something more out of life. So I assume that you would like to be the man on some level. Well, you're probably believing something like this red line, which says, "You're not that guy, pal." You know that meme? It's like, "You're not that guy, pal." That's what most guys have running through their head. They want to be that guy, but they just don't believe in it because they don't have that confidence in it, and there's a reason for that. On the blue side, "I really am the man." And this one's personal to me because I always wanted to be the fucking man, guys. I'm a very competitive guy. I've always believed on some level that there's nobody out there who's better than me. Not that I'm better than everybody in some way, but just genuinely anything that one person can do, I can do. I've always believed that. But then I would always have this voice in my head telling me "Yeah, you're not that guy. It's just not going to work out," and all this kind of stuff. But the more work I put in, the more I show up, the more challenges I overcome, this blue bar right here just gets bigger and bigger. And it gets to where I'm like, "Yeah, I really am that man." Seriously. But in this situation, most guys are on the red side. They believe the guy who says, "You're not that guy, pal." They believe that voice in their head. And it's because of things like this. Work ethic. What's your work ethic like? Are you mailing it in, even at your 9 to 5? Are you getting back from your 9 to 5 and putting in work on that business? Or do you keep watching content and telling yourself, someday I'll do it. I got to find the right thing to do. I can't take action until then. Shit like that guys say. Sitting around wasting time. How much time do you spend scrolling on Twitter, scrolling on TikTok with a podcast on in the background? And that's what you do every evening when you get back from work. It's like, is that what the guy does? Is that what the fucking man does? No. So no wonder you've got this red bar of confidence that's so high. Not going after goals. Quitting, negative self-talk again, dressing bad, bad health, you don't speak well, you don't control your own life, you've got a slave master in the name of a boss or a manager or something like that who's telling you what to do all the time, bullying you around, you get that report done, hey, we need you to show up this weekend, hey, I need you to send that email even though you're done for the day, I need you to go send that email, hey, I know you're with your girl right now, but I need you to do this thing for me right now, and he's calling you and all this crap you're dealing with on a daily basis, hey, you better shave before you come into the office tomorrow. It's like, yeah, no wonder you don't feel like the man. You can't even control your own hand and you want to be the man. Seriously, it's like, why, all this makes sense when you see it this way. You're like, of course you don't think you're the man. Of course you're believing that you're not that guy, pal. That's what you're confident in. You're confident you aren't that guy because you got all this evidence right here. The harsh truth, you aren't confident because you don't deserve to be. This is so important to understand, guys, because people think confidence is this amorphous thing, it's this magical pixie dust that gets sprinkled on people and shit, when in reality, it's just evidence. Brute forced evidence. You've got to create the evidence. And guys spend all this time trying to get the confidence without the evidence. They're like, how do I be confident? It's like, do you have any good reason to be confident in yourself? Seriously. And that gets us to this picture right here. This is the average man's computer screen at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. He comes home from work. He doesn't like his job. He's out of shape. He eats some crap food. He plays a little video games. He smokes a little weed, something like that. And then he cranks up Pornhub or whatever his favorite site for this garbage is. I don't even know what people use. Is that the one they use still? All this crap. You know what I'm saying? This is what the average guy's screen looks like. And then he watches porn on this computer, deletes his browser history, goes on YouTube and types in, how do I be confident? And looks it up like, gee, I don't know, maybe stop jerking off. How about that? Stop cucking yourself. That might be a good place to start. This is what the average guy's doing, right? We talk about, I've talked about it a number of times, if this is your first video you're watching of mine, the average man makes $37,000 per year and he's 26% body fat. We talk about this all the time, like this kind of stuff that I'm showing you right here on screen, this is the average man. And you wonder why he's not confident. If this is you, it makes sense. Seriously, look, why would you be confident wearing that shirt? Why would you be confident with that bank balance? Why would you be confident eating that crap? Why would you be confident with that body? Why would you be confident hitting snooze 4 times? This stuff makes sense. You're not confident because you don't deserve to be. Seriously, confidence is earned, not given. The scorekeeper doesn't lie. This is where everybody spends all this energy, and I used to do this. I would spend all this time trying to convince the scorekeeper that I was worthy of confidence because I was afraid to take action if I wasn't confident. But really, confidence, it's not what we think it is. We think confidence equals success and lack of confidence equals failure. It's not true. Confidence is simply... It's a ability to predict the future and say something about yourself. Again, it's confidence comes down to self-perception, beliefs about life, and future prediction. It doesn't actually directly affect the outcome. It can affect your ability to perform in certain situations, which can make the outcome more likely, but it doesn't actually affect the outcome. If you still go do the thing, you'll get the result. But we spend all this time trying to convince the scorekeeper we deserve to be confident when we don't, and we never take action. We never produce evidence that we should be confident. And so we stay stuck in this cycle of YouTubing videos about how to be confident and never doing anything to produce confidence. I hope this is making sense to you guys. If your mind can vividly remember that girl you had a crush on 10 years ago, I promise you, it can remember if you cheated on your diet yesterday. It can remember if you slept in last week. Seriously, like, you guys might be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I just did this one thing. I only slept in this one day. I only cheated on my diet this one time. I only watched porn once this week or whatever. I only sat around doing bullshit in the evening only like 3 times this week. It's like, guys, your mind remembers all of this, and it's just stacking up evidence of something. Again, remember that first slide we showed. Every thought, action, and experience is just a vote for or against who you want to be in life. Seriously. And so all these things, your mind's remembering them the same way it remembers what happened to you 10 years ago. It might not be conscious all the time, but it's stored in there. So how to be confident? Be what you want to be confident in. That's the key to confidence. Confidence does not, it's not a chicken and egg situation. People be like, which comes first, the chicken and the egg? It's not like that. This isn't complicated. What comes first is the proof, then comes the confidence. You can't gaslight yourself into being confident. The price of confidence is a lot higher than people think too. This is important to understand, because the average person has such low standards for themselves, we think that we deserve confidence if we behave a little bit better than that. We're like, well, the average person eats crap and doesn't work out. I went to the gym twice this week. Like, shouldn't I be confident in myself? It's like, no, you shouldn't. Because there's this massive gap between what the average person is doing and what people are capable of doing. And we've all got this like voice in our head that won't let us off the hook. It knows, it's like our best version of ourselves, and it knows where you're letting yourself down. And just because the average person has utterly failed in life doesn't mean that you get to do a little bit better than them and have bulletproof confidence. The price for confidence is absolute devotion to being the greatest version of yourself. Seriously, this is what I figured this out. I was like, I spent all this time trying to get that voice in my head to shut up that would make me feel guilty, make me feel bad about myself, make me feel like I was failing, make me feel like I was not living up to my potential in life, all that kind of stuff. I spent years wasting time trying to shut it up, and I finally just embraced it. I said, you know what? Fuck it. If this voice is just going to be in here, maybe it's in here for a reason. Maybe it's trying to tell me something. Maybe rather than running from it and trying to convince myself I should be confident, even though this voice is telling me I shouldn't, maybe I should just provide so much overwhelming evidence to that voice that it finally agrees with me that I deserve to be confident, that I really am who the fuck I say I am. I want to be the best. And so that voice in my head, it doesn't let me do anything but the best. It'll beat me up for it. It'll beat me up like it's beating me up sort of for how I'm performing in this video. I got to get better at recording content because I know I can speak better. I know I can make these points better. And I'm going to have to keep improving on it because if I don't keep improving on it, that voice in my head is going to eventually start beating me up and telling me I'm half-assing it. I'm not doing the best I could. The price of confidence is very high, guys, and I hate to tell you that. The price of that sense of confidence that you are the man, of walking in the room and being like, yeah, I am the best. Walking up to the girl and being like, yeah, she'd be lucky to have me, that price is extremely high. And the only way I was able to develop that level of confidence was to stop running from that voice that was telling me I was failing and embrace it and work so hard and dedicate myself so seriously to my goals and to being that best version of myself that the voice eventually agreed. And it was like, you know what? You're right. You are that guy. And that's a powerful feeling. When you get your whole mind on board with the fact that you are the man, it's an incredibly powerful thing, guys. Seriously, I recommend you go for it. Instead of running from the voice, I recommend you embrace it. Produce enough evidence through your behavior and results, and you will be confident. Period. Like we said, there are things you are confident in right now. You're confident in every circumstance. And there's a reason you're confident. Again, it's based on thoughts, actions, and experiences have produced the level of confidence in what you're confident in, basically, about who you are and about what's going to happen to you in life. You get what I'm saying here? So all you got to do is just produce enough evidence and you will eventually start being confident in different things. That's really all it is. Here's how it works right here. We see the scorekeeper. Eventually, it goes down, right? You're doing the right actions. Things have changed. The blue bar goes up, the red bar goes down. You're still not confident in yourself, in the things that you want to be confident in, but it feels a little bit different. Truthfully, you can feel this experience happening. It's like the voice that's negative self-talk is a little bit quieter. The voice that's positive self-talk that believes in you, it's a little bit louder, but you can still, like the positive one is still drowned out by the negative one. Now we're getting pretty close. It's almost 50-50, but you're still doubting yourself. And right here, this is when confidence occurs. When you have stacked up enough evidence that the thing you want to have happen is going to happen, you will become confident. And this is when you start to change your self-image because now you've got evidence to prove that you are who you say you are. For me in real estate, the first deal that I did, my confidence level wasn't sky high. I was anxious a lot. I was like, Jesus, this is going to work out. Is it going to go bad? Everything scared me. And it should have, truthfully. I have no evidence. I'd never done real estate, so of course I'm going to be fearful, right? Like, I had confidence that things would work out for me on, like, a deep level because of things in the past and, like, that had worked out. But as far as real estate, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in all these situations. Things could go bad in a lot of these situations. Another thing to understand about confidence is typically your default reaction is to be fearful and doubtful. Because if you don't have evidence to the contrary, biologically speaking, it makes more sense for you to be risk averse. So what that means is, like, imagine you were one of our ancestors on the plains of Africa and you hear something rustling behind a bush. It was better for you to be afraid that was, I don't know, a python or a lion or something like that than it was for you to be confident and be like, oh, I bet it's a cute little bunny rabbit and run over there. Because if you run over there and it's a lion, you're dead. So it was better for you to be a little bit concerned, a little bit cautious. So we are wired to be negative naturally. So not only is it that you've been stacking up evidence against who you want to be, but you've also got this hardwired programming that makes you naturally a little bit fearful. So you have to overcome both of those, and the only way to do it is through action. But eventually it gets to the point where, like I mentioned with real estate, I've done a number of deals at this point, and I'm confident in the deals. I'm like, yeah, I got this. We can take care of this because I have evidence. Seriously, it's not me gaslighting myself and shouting affirmations in the mirror. I produced evidence. So this takes time, hard work, and consistency. It's important to understand that. This is not a pill kind of fix where you just take this pill and you'll be confident. No, this takes time. Depending on how long you've been stacking up bad evidence against who you want to be, it could take years for you to become confident. There are things that it took me months, if not years, to become confident in because I had stacked up, for example, financially. I really struggled financially in my, growing up. I just always felt like I had less money than my friends. And then I get into my 20s and I was trying to build businesses. And the nature of entrepreneurship is you fail a lot. I had stacked up a ton of evidence that I was going to fail. And so every business venture I went into, I just had this wall of failure. I was just expecting to fail all the time, and I just had to overcome that thing. It was this mountain of shit I basically had to overcome. And even still, it kind of creeps up on me, right? I am more confident that I'm going to succeed than that I'm going to fail at this point by a long shot, but I still have my moments where that old voice kind of creeps in as like, yeah, you're going to fail. And it's just because I stacked up some evidence of it. But as I stack up evidence of my successes over and over again, it just quiets that voice more and more and more. So here's how you can make yourself confident. We're going to do this tactically. We're going to start, again, like I said, your thoughts, actions, and experiences produce your beliefs about yourself, your self-perception, and your future predictions, which is your confidence. So all we got to do is change your thoughts, change your actions, change your experiences, and we can make you confident in the things you want to be confident in. So the first one, thoughts. Change your self-talk. Most people default to negative self-talk, meaning they're talking poorly about themselves all the time. Like you'll hear it. Just notice it in other people and you'll realize you're probably doing the same thing though. They'll say things like, yeah, me and my luck. They'll say that. What does that mean? It means they have bad luck. That's what they're telling themselves. They speak that onto themselves. I'm the kind of person who has bad luck. I see this in the comment section a lot, especially a couple of my videos recently have gone semi-viral, which means that we're getting people on the channel who maybe don't have the same mentality as a lot of you guys who watch this content very regularly. A lot of black pill doomer kind of guys on a video I made about dating, and they're just like, any excuse they can possibly make to explain why they're an epic failure, to how they're victims, all that kind of crap. They'll just say it, and it's because their self-talk sucks. They have no confidence because they're talking terrible. They're talking like a victim. They think that because they're short or because they're bald or because of whatever, they're screwed in life. It's just like the negative self-talk makes you confident in things you don't want to be confident in. It makes you confident that you're a failure and there's nothing you can do about it. You want to change that self-talk. Here's the key to that. Be aware of your thoughts and don't identify with the ones you don't want to be true about yourself and your life. But the key is don't fear them either. So you might be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Well, most people, when it comes to their thoughts, they don't even notice them. They're so used to running these programs in their head that it just feels natural to them and they don't question it. It's just kind of like, you don't even notice your hand unless you look at it, right? It's the same thing with your thoughts pretty much for a lot of people. Now what happens is eventually when you get into this kind of content, you get into personal development and want to change yourself, you start noticing some of these thought patterns and things like that. And what happened for me and what happens for a lot of people in this moment is they get afraid of their negative thoughts because you start realizing that your self-talk is creating your reality. You talk badly about yourself, it's going to affect your outcomes in life. You start getting scared at that point when you notice the negative thoughts. And it's almost this compounding thing. You have a fearful negative thought and then you get afraid of the thought on top of it. And it's just like this infinite regress of negative thinking that happens basically. So what you want to do is realize the thoughts aren't actually real. They're just stuff coming out of your head. You want to be aware of them so that you don't accept the ones that you don't want to be true, but you also don't want to react to them. You're just like, okay, there's that junk. And it's going to feel like this, almost like this really thick cloud cover that makes it so that you can't see the sun. And you have to trust that the sun's there on the other side. That's what negative thoughts are kind of like. Deep down, you know who you are. You know what you want to be true about yourself. You have this belief in who you want to be in life, but there's all this cloud cover over it basically, which is the negative thinking in there. And You know, you don't get afraid when the clouds come and think, gee, the sun's never going to come back. Because you know the sun will come back. You know it's just covered up by the clouds. It's that way with your thinking. Positive affirmations is another one for this. So, you know, rather than identifying with the negatives, the first thing you do is recognize them and don't worry about them. Be like, that's not true. Then you affirm the positive. So, like, people would probably think I'm crazy if they saw me driving around my car. I'll just be riding around telling myself, like, yeah, I'm the fucking man, and here's why. And I'll just be pulling up evidence from my life. It's like you're constantly downloading a program into your head. And it's like, why would I download a negative one? Why would I ride around complaining about traffic when I could ride around in the car and spend all this time just telling myself how great I am? And I sound like a narcissist. I sound like an egomaniac, but I'm telling you, try it. Seriously, but produce some evidence. So I'll ride around the car and be like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. You know why? Because I work 12 hours a day. You know why? Because I'm working 12 hours a day, plus I'm dieting, plus I'm in the gym, plus I'm training for a fight. Like, I'm doing all these things. Most people can't do one of them. And so I just tell myself that. I'm like, yeah, like, I am the man. Hell fucking yeah. And then I have my best income month this month. My YouTube channel's picking up. I just start stacking up this evidence, and it just compounds into this level of confidence. But it comes from positive affirmations and avoiding that negative self-talk. Next thing you do, visualization. Visualization, I about said that word wrong there. Visualizations are an important part of confidence. You know, make sure you're thinking about the right things. You've got visions of the future. Those visions of the future will draw you into them, and you'll feel like the person who's already living that life, which helps with your confidence. They're not bulletproof. It's like if you just visualize, then things aren't going to happen. That's that law of attraction crap. Or they'll be like, just think about it and imagine it and it'll happen. It's like, that's so obviously dumb. But visualization does play a part. You know, great athletes visualize themselves making jump shots and things like that. Michael Jordan would do this before every game. Steph Curry visualizes the ball going in the net. It just makes sense. You're priming yourself for that outcome that you want to have happen. You get more confident in it. Along with this, now, one big thing about thoughts is that people try to use affirmations and visualizations to gaslight their scorekeeper. I just kind of mentioned that with the law of attraction. People will tell themselves affirmations. I'm great. I'm the man. I'm getting better every day. I'm a millionaire. I'm successful. I deserve love. All this crap. They'll say this garbage to themselves. They'll visualize things, and then they'll get up and they won't act like that person at all. And nothing will change, and their confidence won't go up. They'll just have this huge contradiction in their head going all the time, and they'll be upset because you can't fool the scorekeeper. The scorekeeper is not going to be fooled because you can't lie to yourself deep down. And you're lying to yourself because you're not living in congruence with this. You have to become the person, which is more than just thinking. It's thoughts and actions. So now we get on to actions. Be who the fuck you say you are. This is so important, and people don't get it. It's like it's like radical that we have to say this. But seriously, it's like, you know, there's this thing Andrew Tate, he talks about. He says, become a sayer. And I love this. I've been really trying to train this into myself. How often do you break your word to yourself? Like, think about that. Like, seriously, how often do you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it? You want to become a sayer. What does that mean? It means that when you say something's going to happen, it happens. Your word is law. Imagine that level of power. Seriously, imagine it. Like, it's so exciting to me. Imagine that you said something was going to happen and it was as good as done. Literally. You said, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, and it was basically, it might as well already be done because your word was law. You said you were going to be a millionaire, it was done. You said you were going to have a hot girlfriend, it was done. Because you said it, so it's going to happen. This is such a powerful action thing because it boosts self-image. Because you become who the fuck you say you are. Seriously, this is so important. It's like, I say I want to be a great business person. I want to make tons of money. Well, that means I got to work a ton because you're not going to get rich being lazy. And so I had to figure that out. And, you know, I've always worked decently hard, but I figured out there's levels to this shit. And I had to start working a lot harder. And once I did, I started to become who the fuck I say I am, which is an exceptional businessman, a one-of-one kind of guy, the best going. Like, I'm that guy. I start putting in the work and the confidence comes. It's called being a sayer. What would the ultimate version of yourself do? This is the thing to ask yourself in this situation so that you can become a sayer. If you want to be strong, stop doing weak shit. Seriously, it might sound obvious, but how many guys are out here watching YouTube videos, how to become a strong masculine man or masculine traits? They watch all this crap, but then they do weak shit. They're scared of some other guy. They're intimidated. They don't stand up for themselves. They won't quit their job that they hate and go after their dreams because they're afraid of what might happen. Oh my gosh, right? They're going to waste their whole life at a job they hate rather than take a chance on themselves. Yeah, it's stupid crap that guys do, or they're jerking off, or they can't stay disciplined, all this stuff. It's like, no wonder you don't feel strong. Seriously. If you want to be a winner, act like a winner. If you want to be popular, stop acting socially awkward. It's like you got like, how do I become socially confident? Guys will want to know this kind of stuff. It's like, well, gee, stop acting weird. That might be a good way to do it. It's like, yeah, if you act strange and you have no social skills and you don't understand social dynamics, yeah, no wonder you feel like unconfident in social situations. That's like, if I went into the NFL, I wouldn't feel confident. It would be stupid for me to feel confident. I played 1 year of high school football and I sat the bench because I was terrible. Like I'd never played football before. I didn't know what I was doing. I was self-conscious the whole time. It's like if I go play in the NFL, of course I'm not going to be confident. You know what I'm saying? So guys are like, gee, I wonder why I'm not confident in social situations. It's like, I don't know, maybe because you dress like a dork, your body language sucks, you don't understand social dynamics, you're constantly people-pleasing and afraid of what people will think of you. It's like, yeah, no wonder. You know what I'm saying? Actions have consequences. And you might be saying, but what if I don't know how to act like that? Yeah, you might not know. Like, what if you don't know how to act like a winner? What if you don't know how to act popular? All these kinds of things. Well, that's okay. I want you to understand that. I'm not beating you up for not knowing what to do. We've all been there. There are things that I'm going to have to learn in life, things that I'm probably not confident in. I've never sold a company before, but I plan on eventually selling companies. I'm not going to be confident the first time I do it. I'm going to have to learn how to do it. I'm probably going to get somebody who's been through it to help me with the process, and then I'll get confidence. It's not a sin to not have the knowledge to be confident. But the point here is understand that the fact that you don't know how to act is exactly why you aren't confident. And when you understand that, you know what to fix. You don't try and fix the confidence before you act. You act and then the confidence comes. So the good news is this is 100% fixable with effort. Action is 100% effort. It's within your control. You don't have to wait on confidence, okay? Confidence is not required for results. I really wanted to put that on here because I think we convince ourselves that confidence equals positive result, but that's not true. Confident men get rejected by women. Michael Jordan was confident when he played basketball, but he still missed shots. Okay, so it's not like you can make her miss a shot. You can ask a girl out and get rejected, or have her give you her number or something like that. Your confidence can be all over the map. If you still did the right actions, you'll get the right results. If that makes sense. A lot of people are waiting around to feel confident to take action, but you just gotta start. Okay, once you start, the confidence will come. So here's how you can blend thoughts and actions. Like I said, you need to have the thoughts going in the right direction, but if that's all you've got, you're not going to get anywhere. So you need thoughts and actions. I call this confirmations. This is what I said I was doing when I ride around in my car. This is when you make mental notes when your actions are congruent with who you want to be. So you're working really hard one day. You say, you see, look, I'm the kind of guy who works hard. I do deserve success. I am that kind of guy. And you just reaffirm it to yourself. You look in the mirror. You've lost 5 pounds. You've been consistent at the gym this week. And you're like, you know what? See, I am that kind of guy. And you start training your self-image. You start talking to yourself in a certain way. And now you're confident that you are that person who deserves these results. And it starts to become this self-fulfilling prophecy where it gets easier and easier to live up to this new version of yourself that you're creating. It makes it much quicker to update that scorekeeper. If you're just relying on thoughts, it's not going to change much. If you rely on actions, it's going to take a very long time. But if you combine thoughts and actions, it speeds up that process of becoming confident in what you want to be confident in. Now, the last thing we need to cover is how you can use experiences to be confident. You might be wondering, well, how do I control experiences? Well, you don't control the experience, you control your perception of it. This is where a lot of people get trapped in a lack of confidence, is they have an experience happen to them and they create a negative story around it. A girl rejects them and they say, you see, the girl rejected me because I'm unlovable to the core, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that, women never like me. They make these stories up. When in reality, maybe the girl just had girlfriend, who knows? Or maybe she was having a bad day. Or maybe you just acted kind of goofy when you talked to her, but it really doesn't mean on a deep level you're unlovable. It just means your approach wasn't very good. A lot of things can be going on there, but we tend to pick like the worst way to perceive things. And so the key to experiences and confidence is to focus on what you're telling yourself about what happened. There's an infinite number of ways to interpret something. Choose the way that serves you, because ultimately reality is just our consciousness. It's what's going on in our heads. A girl could reject you, and rather than believing that it meant you were unlovable, you could tell yourself that you were so attractive that she was afraid of you. You like, honestly, which one's better? Like, I'd rather be delusionally confident than delusionally unconfident in things, right? I'd rather be so, like, in fact, I've heard like great people say I've never met somebody who achieved big things who wasn't delusionally confident. You have to be that way, really, if you want to do things. Like, you have to be so insanely confident to go talk to some girl who might reject you. That's why most guys don't do it. So just pick the interpretation that serves you. I got rejected by a girl one time that I talked to at my gym, and truthfully, it was because my approach was like terrible. Like it was kind of an awkward thing. I didn't do a very good job of this approach. But my story I told myself about it was that it was this opportunity for me to get better. I was like, you know what? I'll show her. I'll come back. She'll forget about this in 3-6 months, something like that. I'm gonna just go work on myself. I told myself she actually likes me. She just thought that my approach sucked. That's what I told myself, and so I believe that. I believe the girl actually likes me. She just didn't like my approach. And that's a much better mental frame than, oh God, I'm unlovable and women never like me and oh, I can never do anything about it, and like sobbing about it and being afraid of rejection, I haven't spoken to her since. Like, I have no idea about any of it, but it's better to believe that I've chosen to believe that she actually does like me and find me attractive. It's just that I approached her kind of like a corny guy. It's a lot better to believe that because I can change my approach than it is to go around believing that you're just to the core incapable of attracting a woman. Or, there's tons of examples of this kind of stuff, okay? Now, the last thing I want to give you guys is that there are 7 big mindsets that are destroying your confidence. So, like, if you get these 7 mindsets that I'm speaking of, if you get them fixed up, it's going to be a lot easier for you to change your thoughts, actions, and experiences so that your confidence builds. When you change those things, remember, it's going to change the level of confidence you have because you're becoming who you say you are. So if you want to learn how you can get rid of these 7 mindsets that are destroying your confidence, click this video right here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later.